everybody, it's Katie, the Celestial Homebody, and I'm sorry if I sound like actual hot garbage. I feel like actual hot garbage, if it's any consolation. I am sick with a cold, and it has been a hot minute since I've had a cold, and let me tell you, it's not fun. Ryan brought it home from work, I guess, and then the baby got sick. So for the first time in 11 months, I thought that we were going to make it to her first birthday without that poor little thing getting sick. But I finished up alive on Monday, and then my mom was here taking care of her, and she texted me at the end of that live and said, like, you need to come down here. Sorry about the sirens. She was like, you need to come down here right now. And so I rushed downstairs, and the poor baby had 104-degree fever. So we took her to the doctor, and they just said it's just a virus. And then I got sick. I don't have a fever or anything. I just feel blah. I don't even know why I bothered putting on makeup today, because I'm sitting here with a box of tissues just rubbing it all off every time I sneeze or blow my nose. But we're here. Also, yes, I am wearing my glasses today. Don't they make me look smart? And they make me look like Harry Potter, Harry Potter, ooh, Harry Potter, Harry Potter, yeah. If you get that reference, you're probably over the age of 28. But this week has felt like it has dragged on. Some weeks I feel like I'm a snail just chugging along, making it to the end of the week. And then other weeks I feel like the cow spinning around in a tornado for cinematic effect. Yeah, this week crawled by at a snail's pace. But it is a long 3-day weekend. Let me know if you guys are doing anything fun for Labor Day. Tomorrow, you probably have off work, school. Ryan has off work. We're not going to do anything fun because both of us feel like hot garbage. But it has been really, really nice out. So I'm actually wearing like my painting clothes because I think after I'm done filming this, I'm going to go out and enjoy the nice weather and do some painting. But I know last week I told you guys, excuse me, I told you guys about our house woes, and y'all were so supportive. And let me just tell you how much I appreciate you. I was really nervous, like just putting it all out on the table, because I figured that there would be some people being like, well, that's what you get when you own an old house, and like you got to prioritize things in life, you know. And there were, but I would say I'm a fairly financially smart person. And so I knew right away when we were told that the wiring and the stuff in the house was not good, that was going to take priority over my studio she shed situation. But we have some good news on that front. So I thought I'd share that really quickly before we get into what I made this week. So I shared with you guys last week, and if you haven't seen last week's episode, I'm not going to rehash everything. I'm just going to give you an update. So if you want to pause this and go back and watch this week's makes, you can go do that to get the full story. But so on Monday night I had the live, and earlier that day we had another company come out and give us an additional quote for fixing the electrical in the house, and they gave us some really good news. But they gave us good news. The guys before them gave us the bad news, which was between replacing the AC as well as replacing all of the electrical in the house, it was going to be like $85,000. So I was like, let's get a third person in here as like a middle ground. So we got a third electrician in here this week, earlier on, and he also concurred with the second people who gave us a quote. So all of this to say that the first guys, I did not realize this. I did not even know that some electricians work on commission if they work for a larger company. And this guy who told us that we needed to rip out every single wire in the house and all of it was so dangerous and it's going to go up in flames any second, he was working on commission, and that would have been a $52,000 job. So he would have made a pretty penny on that. So Fortunately, the other two electricians who I had come in, I asked, maybe it was not professional of me, but I was like, do you work on commission? They don't. So that made me feel a little bit better that they weren't going to try to upsell us just to get, you know, a bonus on their check. So what they essentially said was they walked around to all of the outlets. The electrician who we ended up going with, she's actually a female electrician, which I think is really badass because there's not a lot of females in the trades. And she is an absolute sweetheart. I love her. But she came over and she opened like every single outlet and light switch and told us, this is an old wire, this is a new one. She went down to the basement, to the crawl space, and looked around, and she was like, honestly, you have some pretty questionable things going on here, but most of it, especially for downstairs, it's all new. So the guy who originally gave us the really hefty quote and said that we needed to replace all the wiring in the house, he was making it out to be more of a bigger deal than it actually was. So that was great news. So what we ended up doing was signing with them, the female electrician, and she works for a company that also does HVAC. So fortunately for us, we were able to also replace our AC, which went out last week. So we just got one singular loan that rolled both of those things into it, and we don't have to pay any money until the start of 2026, and it's no interest for the first 3 years. So that is like literally fantastic. So we can make payments on it, and it ended up being less than half the cost of what the first guys told us it would cost to replace the electrical and the AC. So that is fantastic news, because that means that we do have it still in the budget to do the studio shed. So I'm very, very excited for that. Another thing that a lot of comments said that I just wanted to address, this is just some frequently asked questions, because I was responding to individual comments and I just got sick of responding the same thing to multiple people. So a couple of people suggested that instead of doing a separate shed for my new office, that we put it either in our attic or our basement and finish those out. Neither of those are an option, and let me tell you why. And I have some B-roll to throw up here sometime to show you what I mean. So the basement, definitely not feasible to, number one, finish, but also to work in. Firstly, our basement is very small. It is not the entire size of the entire house. The basement is not much bigger than the office that I'm currently sitting in. In addition to that, there are 6-foot ceilings in there. If you did not know, I'm 6 feet. So if my hair is even a little bit voluminous that day, I'm hitting my head on pipes and everything. Also, it doesn't flood, but it is a Midwest basement. It is very musty down there. We have a dehumidifier running down there just like constantly. We don't need a sump pump or anything because it doesn't like flood to the point where you're standing in water, but the concrete floor does get wet. So the cost of finishing that, as well as like making it waterproof, would just be so unrealistic, especially for the size of space that I would end up getting, which, like I said, is not much bigger than my current office. The attic is a good suggestion unless you know the situation that we have going on up there, which I don't blame you for not knowing. I've never told you guys the situation we have going on up there. So our attic is huge. It's got very, very tall ceilings. We have a very tall pointed roof because we live in a early 1900s Victorian. So it's a Victorian farmhouse. So it's like very pointy, tall roof. That is great because even being tall, I can walk around in there freely and like have tons of room above my head. And it's pretty cool. Like all of the little, you can see it in the B-roll, but like the little window boxes, you know how it kind of jets out, very artsy. Like I feel like that would be fun to decorate. However, two major issues with the attic. First of which is the fact that all of our AC ductwork is up there. And in order to finish the attic, we would need to find a place to put all of that, which would involve going through plaster walls, which is hundreds of dollars to repair. Like per square foot, plaster is a needy little bugger. It can't be too humid, too dry, too hot, too cold for this stuff to set properly without cracking. It takes a specialist to do plaster. You can't just hire a contractor usually to come in and patch. So that would just be a nightmare, and it would just cost way more money than it would be worth. The other main problem with the attic is that I'm pretty sure it's haunted. When we were touring the house, I don't know that I'm going to be able to find the video. I probably won't. But when we were touring this house, we were looking around and I was videotaping, you know, to remember like what it looked like. And I peeked my head around the corner because the attic entrance is actually in our guest room, which used to be like a upstairs bonus room, family room. We turned it into a guest room. We put up a wall and put a door in to turn it into a guest room. So I was peeking around the corner up the stairs into the attic with my phone videotaping, and I swear to you, I caught on camera a shadow figure with 2 glowing eyes. I swear it. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. And that freaked me out a little bit. Not enough to not buy the house, because the house in general, good vibes, good vibes. The attic's a little freaky though. And then in addition to that, there is an urn up there or some sort of lockbox that is very, very old and very, very heavy. And it's just chilling up there. We asked a mortician friend what she thinks it might be. She said based on the size, it's probably a young person, like a child or a pet or maybe multiple pets. So I don't know what's going on, but I don't really want to have to deal with any of that. In addition to the practicality wise of having to move all the AC ductwork. So all in all, actually after speaking with a few realtor friends in our area as well, they said that finishing either the basement or the attic is actually not going to add more value to our house than doing the exterior shed will. In fact, doing the separate detached structure is going to add more value to our house than finishing inside of the house, because we already have a 3,000 square foot house in our area. Adding a couple hundred square feet, like we're not going to get that much more for it when we go to sell. But having a detached structure with its own like electricity, that could be like a little guest house or something to somebody in the future. A lot of kids are homeschooled here, so that could easily be turned into like a homeschool room. That is very, very desirable. So that's why we are still going the route of the shed. On the live, we were coming up with names that we wanted to maybe call the shed. There were a lot of really great suggestions. Leave me a comment and let me know if you have any good name suggestions so I can just be like casually in a vlog or something like, I gotta go out to the Celestial Studio. You know, like what should we call it? The Yarn Barn. I really liked that suggestion. That was fun. We got to go out to the Yarn Barn. The Smut Hut. That was another one. But anyway, so that is all excellent, excellent news. Our new AC just arrived 2 days ago. They did do a number on the stairway. They really scuffed it up coming up the stairs. I don't know if it was the new unit coming in or the old unit going out. I was not watching what they were doing because I felt like crap and I was laying in bed. But anyway, we need to go back and touch up some paint on the wall. We do have a very narrow, curvy, it's like a U-shaped stair situation, and it's very enclosed. So when you're carrying out a big unit like that, like I expected them to ding up some spots. So we got to do that probably sometime soon because it bothers me every time I go up and down the stairs to see scuffs and everything. We have not yet turned on the new system because we're waiting to schedule a time for a different department to come out and clean all of our ducts, because when they removed the old unit, they said that there was some biological growth on like the inside of the unit. They said that the ducts to the naked eye looked clean, but they recommend cleaning them just because who knows what kind of stuff could have gotten in there. And let's be honest, we're in the Midwest. It is incredibly humid here. We also only use the AC for a couple months out of the year here. So when it's sitting in a dark, damp attic, not being turned on for multiple months at a time, you know, that's bound to happen. So we're just going to be really diligent about getting it cleaned regularly, but once they clean the ducts, then we'll be able to turn it on. We have fortunately been very, very lucky that we have had really nice, beautiful peak fall weather, which is perfect because pumpkin spice just came out. Speaking of which, at the end of the video today, we are going to decorate the office for the spooky season. I went to Home Goods a few weeks ago and did get just a couple of little things to spruce it up. Also, we are completely full on plushies back here. So I think it's time to rotate those out. I'm probably going to be listing a lot of those on the website. So you can look forward to that if you are interested in any of those plushies that have been hanging out in the peanut gallery for the past however many months. Those will all go up on my website, but we will decorate. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. But anyways, we got a new fancy thermostat too. It's an Ecobee. Our old AC unit was 26 years old. So even if we hadn't have had the fan break like it did, it still probably would have needed to be replaced sometime soon. Just maybe not this year. Might have been able to push it off till next year, but a 26-year-old AC system is at the end of its life, you know. But I've heard that the Ecobee is really cool. Actually, did we have one of those? We might have had one of those in our first house. But it's cool because it has like a phone app. So while we're out, you know, if we know that we're going to be out shopping or something for a while, we can turn the AC off remotely from the phone. That's really cool. And also good news, we get a tax rebate from the federal government for home energy efficiency, both for electrical and also for the HVAC. Did I even say that we're replacing some of the wiring in the house? I don't even think I explicitly said that. We're replacing some of the wiring in the house. Not all of it needed to be ripped out and replaced. Downstairs was pretty much completely like new, like 2010s-ish was the estimate. And we are also getting a new breaker box too. So we'll make sure that it has plenty of load in order to run the electricity in the shed as well. So that is all good news. What else I was going to talk to you guys about? I don't remember. Let's get into showing you what I made this week. I always think this. I always think I didn't get that much done, but then I sit here to film and I'm looking and I'm like, I kind of got quite a bit done, honestly. Hang on, I got a cough. Excuse me. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I got quite a bit done this week, including a commission, which I will be incubating before I send it out because I'm sick. Doesn't matter anyways because I have another plushie in this order. Actually, that we'll start here. I'll show you this first, this commission. So I have another plushie in this order, so it can't be sent out until I finish that anyways, but I will make sure to incubate it since I am sick right now. So Courtney, who I actually made the magic heart for, was that last 2 weeks ago? I made the little Pokemon Magikarp. She wanted a few other plushies from me, so I set the Magikarp aside. That still needs to be sent out to her. But she also wanted this little creature. So this is another Pokemon. This is a Spheal. Get it? Because it's like a seal, but it's a sphere. It's spherical. Spherical. You guys know that reference from Jake and Josh? If you're a millennial, you definitely do. But anyways, so this little guy was actually really fun to make. Pretty easy because as you can see, it's pretty much just a sphere. It took a butt ton of stuffing though. Whenever you're stuffing a giant void like this, you know, it's just, it felt like I would just kept putting more stuffing in and it was just like disintegrating and disappearing because I felt like I put so much stuffing in. But when I am stuffing a big empty void like this, what I'll do is I'll put stuffing in and then kind of like put my hands in there and forcep it, you know, like imagine you're at the gynecologist getting a pap smear, that's kind of the motion that I do. I separate all of the stuffing against the sides, and then I begin like stuffing the middle once all of the sides are completely full. And that's how I get it into like this completely rounded shape without it being lumpy and uneven and stuff like that. And then for the spots, as well as the eyes and the teeth, I did felt. And in the pattern, this is a free pattern, by the way, on a blog. I'll link it for you in the description box, as well as all of the other patterns that I talk about. But in the free pattern blog, the teeth, they use like felting, you know, like needle felting, but I don't have any needle felting stuff. It is one of the crafts that I just have not gotten into yet, because I am very interested, but I don't have time for that. Yeah, so I did not have any needle felting stuff for the teeth, so I just used some little white felt there. So this is a Sfeel free pattern, so that was really awesome and fun to make. It went really quick. It's pretty mindless. I mean, you are increasing, you know, for the ball, but this is like the most basic crochet shape. Now you do have to do all of the tails. There are 3 tails. You got to do the ears. The little nose bits were a little tricky. And I do think that I sewed them on a little bit crooked. Gives them a little bit of character, you know, and then the ears and the feet are separate. Did I already say the ears? I don't remember. But, there was quite a bit of sewing in this, but all in all, it was fun. I feel like the time flew by when I was making this, and that's always what you want in a crochet plushie. So one Sfeel that will be going to its new home sometime in the next few weeks. So last week, I showed you guys that I had made a Sam from the Halloween movie Trick or Treat, which I still have not watched, but I promise it is on my to-watch list for this Halloween season. But I finished him because last week I did not have button eyes for him. So this is what he looks like with his eyes. And then I also added some twine. I almost said burlap. That's not what this is. Some twine around his neck because he's kind of like a scarecrow guy. Is Sam a kid? I don't know the lore. I've never seen the movie, or I know nothing about the franchise. So he looks like a little guy. So is he a kid? Is he alive in a costume, like an actual kid going trick-or-treating in a costume? Or is he an actual supernatural creature? I don't know any of this stuff, but don't tell me because I don't want to be spoiled for the movie. I can't wait to watch it because a lot of you guys definitely recommended it. But anyway, so I had told you guys that I had gone to Walmart to look for buttons. They had no buttons that were big enough. They would have looked stupid on him. So last weekend we ran out to the city and I stopped at Hobby Lobby, and they have a really good button selection, and their buttons are always 99 cents for the pair, which is great. Sometimes even 4 come in that 99-cent price. So I thought that these were a good size. I probably could have gone a little bit bigger, but I don't know. When looking at pictures of him, the eyes are kind of small. I don't know. Hopefully he will sell at my market. I probably am not going to put him up on my website until I take him to market. I think that this is the kind of thing that's going to draw people in. He's not going to be super cheap, so it's definitely going to take the right buyer to purchase him because he took a lot of yarn and also a lot of stuffing. I mean, look at that girthy body, you know? Speaking of girthy, I made another pickle. Last week I had made enough girthy pickles to fill up my pickle jar, but so many people, like this has been going on for months, so many people leave comments and ask me if I can sell my pickle pattern that I use. And to be honest with you guys, I always just free-handed them, and I made some bigger, some smaller. But I did take the time this week to officially write up a girthy pickle pattern. So that is now available on my website and on Etsy if you want to make a pickle that looks like this. He's girthy. I did a little embroidered face on him. One, because I thought that it looked cute for the photos, but also I don't know why. I feel like pickles are something that people are drawn to get for like kids and babies because it's like a novelty, you know? So I did do little embroidered eyes and mouth on him. So you can get the certified girthy pickle pattern out now. Speaking of which, I also designed 2 new stickers this week. The first one is this certified girthy pickle sticker. You guys have been asking for something like this for months at this point, so I finally sat down and drew it. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to make it look like crochet. So if you've seen my Yarn Chicken Champion stickers, the chicken actually looks like it's crocheted. That takes a long time to illustrate, and honestly, I just didn't have the bandwidth to do that this week. But I was debating whether or not I wanted to go the crochet route. I ultimately decided not to, number one, because of time, but also because I feel like this sticker, somebody might just stumble upon on Etsy and just think that it's funny, a kind of a euphemism, you know, without being too bluntly dirty. And they might not be a crocheter. So anyways, now my new certified girthy sticker is up now on Etsy and on my website. And the second thing that I drew this week is, because of spooky season coming up, this is a little golden retriever dog, and it says, "Trick or treat, give me yarn." And then in his little basket, he has some yarn. So I made a bunch of stickers. These are actually limited run. I'm not making a ton of them because I don't want to be stuck with them after the Halloween season. So I only made a handful of these, and once they're gone, I'll probably just take the listing down. However, you can also get this pattern on a t-shirt on my website. I'll put up a picture here. But this t-shirt has already been selling really well. So thank you all so much if you have already placed your order for either one of these stickers as well as a golden retriever trick or treat, give me yarn shirt. I actually ordered one. Mine should be here sometime this week because the print company ships super duper fast. So I will wear it for you next week if I get it, which I should. So I did have a little bit of time this week to draw, which is nice because you guys know I'm constantly at this battle with myself. It's like, what do I want to spend my time doing? You know, drawing, crocheting, playing a game. I'm going to be doing some painting later today. So let's talk about these little things that I made. So last week I showed you guys that I had made a bunch of the Chonkymon by Naughty Nat on Instagram. And I made a couple more this week, different Chonkymon characters that I had not made last week, so that I could throw them all into one basket, label them as Chonkymon, and then just people could pick their favorite one. Even if they're not Pokemon fans, I feel like some of these are just cute. So this one is meant to be like a Torchic, but it kind of just looks like a cute little bird. So, you know, even if a little kid doesn't know what the Pokemon are, they could still be drawn to this, which I like that. Some of these are very obviously Pokemon, and you'll see in a minute. But this one's pretty generic. So this is a little Torchic. Her feathers are off to the side. I don't know why that is. It might have been my tension. Honestly, I don't know why they're not sticking up straight. I mean, I can kind of finagle them. There we go. But there's a little Torchic. I only made one because I feel like this is not a very popular Pokemon. But what is a popular Pokemon is Gengar. I did only make one of these this week, but I would like to make another one, or at least bring some purple yarn with me to make it there. I know when I put all of my Chonkymon into the mystery boxes for past markets, I would always, just out of curiosity, ask people which one they were hoping to get. And the two most common were Togepi and Gengar that were available. And then a handful of people said Jigglypuff as well. But so I know, like, going into it, which ones are kind of the most popular. So I definitely am going to be bringing yarn to my fall festival market to make a few more Gengars if this sells quickly. So I do have eyes, safety eyes, that have red irises, not pupils, irises, black pupils, but I couldn't be bothered to get up and go get them when I was making this guy. So I feel like maybe I should go back and add a little bit of red around his eye. I don't think he needs it, but I do think it would add just a little something extra to him. So I'll probably do that. Also, I feel like I put his eyes too low. Did I put his eyes too low? Maybe. Look at those little angry eyebrows. And look at his little coccyx tail. I know that word. It's the glasses. They make me smarter. So I did a Gengar. Then I did a Togepi, which was another popular one, like I mentioned. And look at this little guy. Look at this little egg guy. Oh my goodness, he's so pudgy. Oh my gosh, speaking of egg guys, the other day, Ryan and I turned on the Gudetama show on Netflix. What in the fever dream is that show? But it is so stinking cute. If you like Gudetama, there is a Gudetama show on Netflix. Highly recommend. You're going to question what the plot is and be like, what, okay, what is happening here? But you're going to be so charmed by Gudetama's shiny little buttocks. But anyway, so here is a Togepi. I did do his little spikes differently than it said to in the pattern because I had deleted the photo on my phone. Oh my goodness, you guys. I had deleted the photo on my phone, and so I just winged it. Because that's normally what I do when I want to do patterns. At the beginning of the week, I will go through and I will screenshot all of the free Instagram patterns, or I'll download the Etsy patterns that I'm going to do that week. I'll have them all ready to go on my phone. So this past week, I just had all of the screenshots on all of these Chunkymon patterns saved. But like I said, deleted the one for the hair. Could have gone back into recently deleted, but I just winged it. I do feel like his spikes are maybe a little small, little dinky, but that's okay. He's a baby egg, so it works. And then the last Chunkymon that I did was a Jigglypuff. I did two because these are probably amongst the most easy of all of the Chunkymon because it's literally just a ball plus the ears, which you surface crochet, and the little curly whirly hair tuft, which you also surface crochet. So these were very easy to make, so I went ahead and did two. The only thing that I will say about these Chunkymon is no matter how hard I try, the eyes, one eye is always lower than the other just because you're working in the round. For whatever reason on the Chunkymon, it's just evident that one is higher than the other one. But it's like, you know, you give a little, you take a little. They're easy to make. I don't think that somebody's going to look at this and be like, that eye is ever so slightly 2 millimeters above the other eye. I look like I could say that today with my glasses on. So anyways, that was all of the Chunkymon that I made this week. So last week, I showed off my new pattern that I just released, which is Nessie/Lassie. It is a modular 6-in-1 Loch Ness monster, but also could be a dinosaur pattern. I showed that off and showed you guys all of the tester photos, and my testers did an absolutely phenomenal job. And I was actually very inspired by a few of my testers. So I wanted to make another Lassie, actually a Lassie, because I have a Nessie who is back there. But I have not made a Lassie, which is the dinosaur version with the dinosaur legs. So I had a tester. Who was it? I should know who it is. I'll put it up on the screen right here. But she put little flower petals around the outside of the face of her little dinosaur, and it was just so absolutely adorable. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to be a copycat. Just say meow, meow, Katie. So I was looking through my yarn and I was like, I kind of want to do a variegated for the body. I feel like I don't use variegated yarns a lot and I have a lot of them. So I picked one that I love. This is the Chenille Brights tie-dye in the color In Harmony. And it works up really, really well, in my opinion. Normally with variegateds, you get like, especially in the body, you know, there's a lot of rounds, or in the neck, there's a lot of rounds. What will happen with a variegated is you'll get those sections where it color pools, and I personally don't like that because I don't like the look of it color pooling in one spot and then in another spot looking chaotic. I would rather it all look color pooled or it all look chaotic. And what I really like about this yarn is that it all looks chaotic. It is tie-dye. That's the name of it. So it is meant to look like little splotches of color. And then for the petals on her, I used Burnout Baby Blanket Sparkle in this yellow. And then for her eyes, these are the eyes that Christine sent me. I showed them off last week and I was admiring her package. And how cute it was and how cutely all of the eyes that she sent me were packaged. But this is from her Wizard of Oz collection and it is called Yellow Brick Road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road. I can't sing right now. Why did I try? But excuse me, I'm so sorry, you guys. I sound awful. Oh my gosh. But anywho, so I was a copycat and I did the flowers around the face too. I don't even know what I'm going to title this dinosaur as. Maybe Flower Dino? I don't know. But this is the Lassie version of my pattern. Back there is the Nessie version with the flippers and the spikes. This is the dinosaur. Now, being me and seeing patterns and most of the time thinking of them as just suggestions, even with my own patterns, I don't follow them. This body is a lot more rotund than what the pattern says to do. I just thought it would be fun to go off script of my own script that I myself wrote and make it a little rounder, like a little more baby chibi like. It's a little too bulbous, if I'm being honest. But I do think that some little kid is going to love this. It is very fun to hold around the neck, especially under these little petals here. And despite the fact that this is a very, very busy yarn, variegated yarn, I do think that it kind of fits. I don't know. I was debating whether or not I wanted to do a solid color body and then the variegated petals. I think that this was the right choice to go with though. Also, I freehanded the petals and all of them are kind of different sizes. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? But anyways, one little flower lassie. So if you've been around here for a while, then you have heard me tell the story about this crochet bunny. This was the very first thing that I ever crocheted, you guys, which is wild. And I'll explain why in a second. It is inside out. I don't know if you can tell, but it's inside out. It is very dense because this is old formula burnout blanket and I used a 5mm hook, which is wild to me because normally with burnout nowadays, if it's the old stuff, I'll use a 7. If it's newer, I'll use like a 6.5. His arms look very buff, but they are different sizes. Also, his ears are different sizes. But all in all, for this being the very first thing that I ever crocheted, that's pretty damn good. I'm proud of myself, especially considering the fact that I thought that it would be fun this week to go back to my very first crochet pattern and make it now with the skills that I have all these years later. So that is what I did. And it's funny how different they look. So let me show you my new and improved bunny. So this is what I went with, this cherry blossom theme for my bunny remake. So I got this yarn a few weeks ago at Michael's. This is the Sweet Snuggles Light, I don't know, is it called Sprinkles? Speckles? I don't know if it has a specific name, but as you can see, it's white with little pink spots in it. And I thought that it would be very pretty to put on a bunny and then go with that Sakura vibe. So I also added some little cherry blossoms to her head. And of course, I had to add some blush to her, but I also put the blush inside of the ears as well as in the interior of the flower, just to give them a little bit more dimension. I'm going to talk about her eyes in a second because I'm really proud of those. And then for her tail, this is just some Big Twist fur yarn that I just did a surface crochet bobble stitch. I did not follow the pattern for the tail because it was like they wanted you to make a ball. And since I was using the fluffy yarn, you wouldn't have been able to tell the difference between an actual ball and just a surface crochet bobble. So I took the easier route. This yarn is so incredibly soft. This bunny is so snuggable and soft, but let me tell you, it was a nightmare to work with. It shed. I literally blinked at it and this stuff just fell off the string. It just poof, gone. I should have made some wishes, just like you would with a little dandelion that you blow when I was using this stuff, because holy moly. Also, you can tell I put one ear down, one ear up. I just thought that that was cute just to give it a little bit of personality. I don't know. Maybe I should have gone 2 ears up. But I wanted to show you guys these eyes. So I painted these eyes inspired by this bunny. They're little cherry blossoms. So behind the eye, I did pink sparkles and then a solid layer of pink paint. And then on the actual exterior of the eye, I put these little charm things. They're little flowers and cherry blossoms. And then I did UV epoxy on top of the eye to encapsulate those in there. But they're really, really pretty in person because they look very three-dimensional with those little pieces on the outside. So selling eyes is actually something that I am doing now on my website. If you did not know, these ones are not out yet. This was like my tester set, but I have everything sitting over there to make more of them. So I'm going to be making more and then listing these soon. But in the meantime, I made another set and I'll come back to showing the bunny in just a second. But these are the set that I currently have available up on my website. These are 30 millimeters and they are these really pretty color shifting holographic butterfly eyes. And this is one of my favorite colors to use for plushie eyes. The blue just pops no matter what background color you're putting them on, black, white, hot pink. This color will pop like crazy. And to doing the butterflies, I was really inspired by the live action Cinderella movie. Have you guys seen that movie? It is the best Disney live action. I stand by that. It is so charming. The costumes and the sets are just chef kiss. So when I was picking out the little charms to put in this one, I did some dark blue and then they kind of fade into this lighter blue, which color shifts to green. And I thought that that was very pretty and it was very reminiscent of the Cinderella movie with the dress and the butterflies and the shoes and the butterflies, you know. So I actually made 2 pairs of each size of these. They're all on my website, but they're very limited because I just did not have the time to make more of them. So I have 2 sets of 30s, 2 sets of 25 millimeter, 2 sets of 20 millimeter, and 2 sets of 18 millimeter. So these are available on the website if you want to get some. And I have no idea when the Sakura eyes will be out. Probably not for a few weeks because I need to get better. I just can't right now. Especially working with epoxy and stuff and having to wipe my nose and blow it and everything. So it's going to be a few weeks before these ones are out, but I just wanted to show them off. I'm very, very proud of how they turned out. So back to this bunny here. So here is the first bunny that I did compared to my enhanced skills. As you can see, they're kind of similar, but also very different. The new one is a lot plumper. Ooh, the new one is a lot plumper. This one is a lot skinnier. But I remember when I was making this, going through, and like, this pattern is so difficult. I would honestly consider this bunny pattern one of the most advanced crochet patterns that I have ever done. Ever. Even now, being this experienced. So the fact that I got something this good out of it, I am so beyond proud of myself. But I remember going back to the pattern and then going to YouTube and being like, okay, how do I do an increase again? How do I do a decrease? Because this pattern, in one singular row, there will be tons of increases, tons of decreases, tons of different types of stitches. Like, the fact that I got something like this, that's pretty cool of me. But I remember after I finished this, I just absolutely hated it. I hated every little mistake. His arms, because they're just like, they're so buff. I remember I had to sew his arms together because they're supposed to look more like this, but mine were like sticking out this way. So I literally had to sew them together like this. So that is why they're so close together now. Why do his arms look like 5 times longer than what they're supposed to look like? Couldn't tell you. Also, he's very shapely. Look at that. He's got that Kim K figure. That's what it's supposed to look like. But yeah, in terms of size, given the fact that this is Bernat and this is Sweet Snuggles, I would expect the Bernat one to actually be a lot bigger, since Sweet Snuggles is more of it's a less dense yarn, but they're about the same size. The face shape even is like completely different. Now, granted, the big eyes do make a huge difference in terms of how the face is like shaped. I kind of like the beady little eyes, and I was considering doing beady little eyes on her too, but I just had to use these eyes, you know. But this pattern is difficult. I do not recommend this pattern if you are newer to crochet. Don't be like me. Don't make this one of the first things that you crochet. And then I literally, after I made this, sat down crochet for about 1.5 years because I was so disappointed at how ugly it was. Don't be like me. This is also a very expensive pattern. I want to say it's close to $7, if not more. That's a lot, in my opinion. I would pay $7, or even like, I would dare say I would pay up to $12 if it is an easy pattern that I know I'm going to be making over and over and over again, and it's going to be a market staple, because I know that I'll get my monies back. My money back. Monies is not plural with an S. But something like this, you make once as like a gift for somebody, or maybe once for a spring market, and then you don't make it again. And so then you have to take that $7 out of your profit because you had, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. I don't need to over explain myself. So, oh, also in this, it has a rattle. I don't know if you can hear that. I stuffed this thing so densely that you can't even hear the rattle. It just muffles it. So this bunny is forever staying in my collection, only because it was the very first thing I ever crocheted, and I made it for my son Sawyer, who is no longer with us. So this is very, very special. It stays up here, but when Celeste is older, I'll probably give it to her. But this one is going up on the website and will also go to market if it doesn't sell on the website. Very, very soft. Very nice. I just love that little bit of blush inside of the flowers there. My energy is so low, you guys, and I know that you can sense it, and I apologize for that. All right, well, that is everything that I crocheted this week. Let me get all of my decor if you want to hang around for a minute, and I will show you what I got to decorate the office, and we'll do that really quickly. Hang on. Okay, let me show you what I got. So my vibe is definitely spooky cute. So the first thing that I got is this adorable pillow. Look at how cute this is. It's got little embroidered jack-o'-lanterns and little ghosties on it. Now, I don't really have a place for a pillow in this room. I do use a lumbar pillow on my chair right here. I don't know if you can see it. Right now I just have like a little Sherpa pillow, but I thought that I could use this kind of as lumbar support in the meantime. But how cute is this gonna look on the cosmic couch in the she shed during the fall season? I just could not pass it up with the colors and the embroidery work. Oh, so cute. So that is definitely what inspired the entire look. So there's that. Then I found this pumpkin. Look at how cute this is. It's a pink pumpkin. It was $19.99. Kind of expensive if you ask me, but if it's me, which it is me, I keep my decorations year to year. Like literally I've had the same Christmas decorations and everything since I very first got them right out of college. So this is going to stay with me for a long time. And I don't think I'm going to ever outgrow pink. If I'm a 30-year-old woman who still loves pink, just like I did when I was 10 years old, I don't think I'm ever going to outgrow it. So it'll stay with me for a while. But how cute is this? I thought that it was the perfect combo of the pumpkin and the little ghosties. Also kind of funny how I legitimately saged our house when we moved in to get rid of the ghosts, and now I'm bringing the ghosts back. The real ghosts are probably like, what the hell? But anyways, there's a ghosty pumpkin. Then we have this spooky skull, and normally skulls are not my vibe, but this one is literally pastel. It's literally a pastel skull. I don't know what else I need to say about that. Two more little things that I got. This one I might return if we can't find a good place for it, but I loved the purple because it matches the brand and it also lights up. How fun is that? Am I going to remember to turn this on before every video? Probably not. You're probably never going to see it lit up again, but oh, is this Martha Stewart? Oh my gosh. It's Martha. Yeah, so this might get returned. We'll see if we have a place for it. I kept the tags on all this stuff. And then the final thing that I got is this little guy. Is that not the cutest thing? It's a little purple ghosty. Although I did take my signature blush compact and I did put some blush on him. He did not come with any blush, but I thought that he was just the cutest little guy. What should we name him? He looks like his name should be Marshy. I think we're gonna name him Marshy. Okay, let's decorate. Okay, so we definitely need to put the stuff away because we are packed full on plushies. So Nessie is gonna go up on the website. Look at those sparkly eyes. So throwing her down there to go up on the website. This little cow is for Celeste, so I might just put that in her room. I think we'll keep this little Celeste, and not my daughter. This little Animal Crossing character Celeste. I think we'll keep her in here. And then I originally made this unicorn for my baby, but she has so many stuffed animals. I think this one's going on the site too. Look at her eyes. Aren't those pretty? They're blue pupils. It's just a pupils. Blue pupils. So this unicorn is also going up on the site. Merida is staying forever. What do we have over here? Okay, we have little twin stars. They might stay. I might bring these to my market though. I probably won't put these on the site. I'll bring those to market. Luna, she is being sold on my website if you want her. Let's take her out of there. I do love her. She was our mascot for a little bit, but out with the old, in with the new. I did hand paint and resin her eyes. They're sparkly, and then gave her some nice big slutty lashes. So she's also getting sold. Sorry, Luna. This one is not going anywhere. This was a gift from a subscriber who was a pattern tester for me for Nessie. Serafina, what do we want to do with Serafina? I think she's going to stay. By the way, the Monarch Butterfly Dragon version of her is for sale on my website. I think we're going to keep her up here or somewhere else. Sunshine Guy. Should I sell Sunshine Guy? Maybe. I think it might be time to say goodbye to Sunshine Guy. All right, he'll be up on the website too. Okay, let's put our little pillow there. Wait, I feel like, yeah, zipper's gotta go on the bottom. Oh, that fits perfectly. Cute, cute. Okay, that's the dog's toy. So pumpkin, maybe front and center right here. Well, it's not really centered and that bothers me. I think I need to move some of my tchotchkes, unfortunately, but that's okay. I have plenty of room up here on my desk, so I can put these up here. I think this is called Celestite. A subscriber sent that to me. I made that. That's my little Animal Crossing character. Made her out of clay. We'll put the bunny up here, maybe. Kind of matches my Miffy mug that I keep all my crochet hooks in. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, what do I do with this? We'll put her right here. There we go, right in front of my switch. And we have Merida and Alicreme. We'll find a spot for them over here. I put Alicreme right there and Merida right there.
Endless thanks to our members in the Cosmic Couch Club and the Cosmic Couch Club Plus. You guys keep this little galaxy spinning. If you are interested in joining the coziest couch in the cosmos and getting exclusive channel perks like seeing videos early before they premiere, there is a link down in the description box below.
All right, I put Marshy right there next to a candle because it's aesthetic. And then I put my pumpkin up on some books because it's also aesthetic. And then I put these guys across the top here, and then the skull right there next to Tia. And then this one we will return. So yeah, I'm gonna take these listing photos right here. Then I'm gonna go take some cold medicine and go outside and enjoy the nice weather and paint a little bit. And then probably just chill tonight. Maybe I'll pick up a game. I've really been wanting to play the new Story of Seasons game. Just came out on Switch. It's called Grand Bazaar. So maybe I'll do that. So anyways, thank you all so much for hanging out with me on this week's episode of This Week's Makes. I'm sorry again that my energy is so low and that I sound absolutely awful. And you could probably see the glare of the light in my glasses the entire time, which probably annoyed some of you, but what can I say? I'm only human. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good week. Enjoy your day off. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.